Press play. There's the magic finger. Pressing down. Yeah.
The Wrestling Club with Darren and Brett. We've got a show that you'll never forget.
Wrestling fans, whether you're casual lobsters, wrestlers, games, my name's Darren Bain, broadcasting from my bedroom here in Jersey, where tonight we're celebrating connection issues. That's right, the internet has failed us once again, but hopefully you can hear me, see me, feel me, smell me, whatever you want to do. YouTube with Wrestling Club, a special Sunday night edition of the program. It's going to be very interesting. We're going to be talking, what are we talking? Full Gear. We're talking Survivor Series, and maybe a couple surprises. We're going to have a guest, so it's going to be a good show. Hop right into it. Let me introduce you to my tag team partner, coming to us live via satellite from Hollywood, California, the Bushwhacker Doink to my Bushwhacker Doink, Brett Davis. Brett!
Well, that's a deep cut. How's it going, Darren? Happy autumn.
Brett, it's a happy autumn to you too. As the days get darker and longer and colder and sadder, we have wrestling to keep us to enjoy, because wrestling is only good now. We'll talk good wrestling and bad wrestling
Only
this
good.
week.
I don't know about only good.
We're gonna. Well, I was saying good wrestling and bad wrestling. There was great wrestling last night, and there's probably going to be some bad wrestling next weekend.
That's right. And there's going to be a great wrestling club tonight, because we have a wrestling club regular joining us in a little bit. LaToya Ferguson, writer extraordinaire, will be joining us. But LaToya didn't watch Full Gear. We did. So let's get that out of the way, because it was a really fun show.
Yeah, imagine if I got in here, it was like, Full Gear wasn't that great.
Yeah.
It was fine. Kind of, whatever. It was a great show. It's really nice to be a wrestling fan. You know what's so funny? Earlier tonight, I was hanging out with my roommates. Shout out to the man upstairs, Isaiah. And we were sitting on the couch and we were watching some clips of wrestling. Now, when I'm going to watch wrestling with casual fans, I always put on things that either they're going to love or they're going to hate. Tonight I chose hate, and we watched Vince McMahon, Linda, and Trish in their little menage a trois storyline, where Linda's catatonic, Vince is abusing all the women around him.
Yeah.
And my roommate was like, this is quite possibly the worst television you've ever put on in our home. And I said, yeah, it really is bad. And now we watch wrestling, and it's good and it's great, but it feels it feels like awe-inspiring. It feels like it's just broken the mold, because compared to what came before, it was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Last night was it was like kind of by the numbers, perfect AEW pay.
Yeah, it's almost like there's not a ton to report, because it was just very good wrestling. A few qualms I had, but for the most part,
Qualms. Are you gonna nitpick now?
Yeah, I mean, their big new signing, Jay Lethal, didn't wow me.
Speaking out, Jay Lethal.
Yeah, everybody's speaking out about him on Twitter. I guess he must be really in demand.
That's his gimmick.
Yeah,
New Jersey's it's rare that I am not a big fan of a wrestler from New Jersey. Usually I take I give the benefit of the doubt for our Garden State fellas, but
didn't you run into Jay Lethal once?
I did. I ran into to Jay Lethal and his then girlfriend AJ Lee at the Menlo Park Mall around 2008, and they were in the paranormal teen romance section at Borders bookstore.
Yeah, so that's what he gets into.
That's pretty cool. I mean, he's probably I to be honest, Brett, I forgot that he was in the Speaking Out universe. I mean, he was in, Ring of Honor, Sinclair Broadcasting. Not probably a lot of great people there, so it kind of makes sense. He's coming in. That was the big surprise on the show last night. Of course, we have a brand new AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page, the culmination of a years-long storyline, which was a fantastic main event.
I don't think America has had a story told from start to finish in 20 years, maybe. So that was nice to see.
Probably longer. Honestly, probably longer. It was a great story. And a great show. We don't have to run down all the matches, but I mean, Eddie Kingston and CM Punk was my match of the night. It was an 11-minute fight. It had a feel to it that very few pro wrestling matches can have. It was great. Just so good. It's so nice to watch wrestling.
You know what I loved? And I know you loved it too, because we did not speak all day. And then Man Upstairs Isaiah, I guess a convert fan. I don't think he probably didn't have a great knowledge of Baron von Raschke beforehand.
That's right. We should say during the Inner Circle versus America's Top Team match.
The Minneapolis street fight. It wasn't a match. It was a Minneapolis street fight.
Thank you. Complete with Kiss merchandise. Not Prince merchandise. I'm sorry. But in the front row, Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer, the Baron. As I told Brett, wrestling's living Dracula. A man who has been 1,000 years old for 1,000 years in wrestling. He put his patented claw hold on what's that guy's name? Ethan Page? Is that who's
All Ego? Yeah,
group?
yeah.
All Ego got clawed.
I don't think we spoke at all day, and not really much during the week. And we both simultaneously texted each other, all caps, yes, once the Baron emerged. Man Upstairs, Isaiah. Yeah, I'd love your take on the sight of a crazy old man with a magic claw.
I love to see just an old man grab a young guy's face. And he was like defending some like woman he was yelling at too. It was great storyline.
Yeah, he didn't need to defend her, but he's ready for a fight, which is nice.
And he's got one move,
and they like set
the claw.
It was amazing. They like, oh hey, here's this old guy you guys all love, and he like kind of did a little sell. It's like, oh that's cute, and then it's like, oh hell yeah. As soon as he ran into that side of the ring, I was like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, full disclosure, I wrote a little review of the claw that'll be up on Fan Fight tomorrow, presumably. But
that's good. I feel like you're continue.
Yeah, I thought I was just going to be reviewing a dumb Minneapolis street fight, and it's like, well, what are they going to use, like hockey sticks? And it's like, oh well, yeah, they did hockey sticks and the toaster and the bunt cake pan. But yeah.
I was hoping for, you know what I was hoping for? For some like maple syrup, maybe get them all sticky. Is that a Minneapolis thing? Is that a maple syrup thing? I'm thinking about, I had a hot dog once. They're like, this is a Minnesota style dog. And there was just maple syrup on it. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe. Yeah. Not the most effective weapon, I think, is the issue. But
I think sticky is very...
Baron von Raschke he's been 60 for 60 years. Since old, being 60. He seemed 60 years old in 1975. I went back and looked, and I'm like, that's a 60-year-old man. So he must be celebrating 120th birthday or something around.
I'm very, and a happy 120th to the Baron. Very happy to see him there. And I want to say, Isaiah, when the guy came on the screen before his name even showed, Isaiah's like, oh, what is this guy, like a Nazi? Yeah, actually, that was kind of the idea a little. Well, not a Nazi, but more like a German.
Yeah, I mean, he did
a militaristic German.
He did the goose step. Well, that's the thing. He's not a Nazi. He's actually fought in World War I.
Oh, he's from I see. I see. Yeah. He was, okay.
Well, we got our guest. Any final thoughts about Full Gear?
Brett, what was your match of the night?
My match of the night was the Minneapolis street fight. I didn't think it would be, but the Crusher. I'm not the Crusher, the Baron. Excuse me, the Baron.
Yeah, watch it.
Yeah, really sold it for me. But I'd love to know what Man Upstairs, Isaiah. What was your match of the night?
Oh, the street fight, dude. Baron got the biggest pop for me all night. I mean,
Yeah.
the main event was pretty good.
And you're
but-
not an AWA fan.
No,
You didn't watch it in the
no.
'70s.
No,
You're not a bird guy.
No, not in the slightest. But just seeing that old man, just like, yeah, who likes Ethan Page really? Come on, any Ethan Page fans out there? Actually,
I like his little dance.
We all wanted to see
but-
that happen.
No, and Isaiah, I know you hate Scorpio Sky.
Oh, with a passion, a burning passion. No,
Hey,
okay.
that makes
As
two
much
of
as I
us.
don't like Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky is like miles above that hate. Just such an uncharismatic guy.
Well, you don't listen to his
I
cool
just
podcast.
want to say, I know everybody at Wrestling Club was wondering. Wrestling with the Week, Scorpio Sky's podcast is on hiatus. So best wishes to that crowd over there. We know it's fine.
Well, I'd like to welcome our guest. He's one half of the Men of the Year. Please welcome Scorpio Sky. No. It is actually coming to us live from Los Angeles, California, I believe. LaToya Ferguson is here.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
an Ethan Page fan, and I'm hearing slander on the YouTube.
You love Ethan Page.
I love that Canadian.
All
I'm
right.
a big
Oh,
Monster
see,
Mafia fan.
See, I'm a
All
little
right.
ambivalent. I think he's fine. But Scorpio Sky is. Are you a fan of
Scorpio
Scorp?
Sky is interesting because Scorpio Sky on TV has never been good. Scorpio Sky on the Indies fucking rules.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know Scorpio on the Indie. I just know Indies. I just know him on TV, and he is the most boring.
It's crazy because he's done on the Indies. I would see him live like on Hollywood, like NWA Hollywood, basically, and he was like the piece of shit biggest heel on that for the longest time, besides like Sean Ricker, which is LA Knight now. So it's interesting to see how he hasn't like really translated in TV form.
I think he's fine in the spot he is. He doesn't come
He's
off
great.
like a star.
He's in the right spot.
He's in the right
Because
spot.
He doesn't have a lot of. I just doesn't have a lot of. It's not charisma. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of charisma. I don't know.
I
But
think
him
he has a
with-
ton of charisma.
Do you?
I think, yeah, but
Maybe it doesn't have a lot of personality.
that's maybe it. I don't
It
know.
doesn't show with the gimmicks they keep giving him. Basically, I would say.
True. Well, he's also next to Chris Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, who also don't have a lot of personality. Like
My
aging
beloved Christopher Daniels. Shut up.
I love Christopher Daniels. I'm a fan of. He definitely has the most personality in that group, but it is aging goth, and
Leave
that's
my-
fine.
Leave my
But
old
not
man
the best
alone.
for Scorpio Sky. It's like, right, you're right. I'm attacking.
You know, I will say though, I kind of hated it at first, but I'm so in love with the Men of the Year theme song.
It kind of rules, right?
It's
Oh,
great, and when he does the dance, it's just like such a cocky. It like really pushed the act way further than it had been in my mind.
Brett, how do you feel about Dan Lambert now?
Well, like I mentioned last week, did a little digging, and he is, a negative star reviewed Caribbean cruise line owner, and they had
True. I
allegedly,
like that about him.
they had allegedly been swindling a lot of senior citizens out of money. So as a baseline, I kind of don't like him, but
I
as
mean, that's what they get for going on cruises, though.
That's what I'm
Perhaps.
saying. Stay on land.
yeah, why would you send the old out to sea? But as the guy that screams about Rip Hawk and Jerry Jarrett and shows off his like Mid-Atlantic Championship belt, I kind of do
Yes.
like. But then
Yeah.
as the guy that comes on AEW and he's like, "You triggered millennials," don't like it so much.
See,
But then
I think
when
that's
he's
the-
marching
I think
around
it's-
his velour blue suit, which you have yet to see, but it was a great visual.
So I just watched like part of Full Gear. Like we got up to, we saw the Bucks and Adam Cole versus Christian and Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. I will say with Dan Lambert, my mother has fallen in love with him because of this gimmick. I did not like this gimmick when it was an Impact, like because I was writing my Impact reviews at Uprex at the time. I think the way he did the gimmick was too much, like just burying everyone and not actually like putting people over when he was doing it in Impact. I think he's kind of tweaked it and perfected it here, and I'm like, I love it here.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that he has no volume control. I find that endearing.
It's very funny.
And all of his promos are yelled like this. He has a microphone.
Shut up! Just shut up!
I was hoping underneath that blue suit he had the Michael Cole singlet on. Maybe they'll save that for another time.
Well, he wouldn't wear the Michael Cole one because he's not a Syracuse guy. Anyway, Full Gear was very fun. But LaToya, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me. When I drunkenly was like, when will you have me back on?
Yeah, no, that's how people get on the show, by the way. Feel free to just do that to us. But you mentioned your Impact reviews. We have an Impact heavy show. We're crossing the line this week.
Cross the line.
Yeah, Jay Lethal came back, which we mentioned.
Which I am aware of. Like, I know what happened on Full Gear, even if I haven't seen it all. So I wasn't gonna not be spoiled.
I'm so sorry if I ruined that for you.
Jay Lethal himself.
Yeah, and everybody's speaking out about it, as Kath Barbadoro tweeted. There's we're going to talk about the X Division greats. We're going to talk about the I don't even remember half of these things. And then also,
okay, keep going.
Are you asking what are we doing this week?
You're like, what's happening?
I don't know what we're doing. I don't know the rundown.
Well, we'll do a little big show and tell, and then we'll wrap things up with a little Survivor Series what if. Darren, if you have your little sound effect ready.
You didn't tell me we were gonna have a big show and tell, so just give me 1 second.
Okay.
just tell the people what we're coming up with. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna do a segment. You want to do a segment? That's good.
Yeah, crucial. You know what? I'll do a little. Oh no, I don't have it at hand. I was gonna do a little plug. Oh, here we go.
Brett, we have it right here.
The Encyclopedia of Women's Wrestling, written by LaToya Ferguson.
Hey, that's the book I wrote.
It's a great piece. Again, Darren's still mad that the Glamour Girls section is not.
I mean, I'm mad about a lot of things with that book. So.
Oh, mad about a publishing deal? What? Never heard of it. What are you up to these days?
So just in general writing. I am also working on a TV show, a showrunner's assistant. It's a secret Netflix show. I can't tell you what it is, but it's cool, baby.
Is it a choose your own adventure featuring The Undertaker?
It is not, unfortunately. Okay. That's been done, I've heard, actually.
Oh dang. I pitched that to them a while back, and then I just got so sad when they rejected it.
So, Brett, what's coming up next?
I think it's a big show and tell. And tell. Was it worth the wait?
No, it didn't. It's not going to work anyway. So
I think it was worth it, actually.
Well, thank you.
Speaking of the big show, I highly recommend everybody check out the epic Rocks, Paper, Scissors Junkin match between Paul White and wrestling club member Lulu Pencil that occurred backstage.
No. It wasn't.
Oh no, sorry, wrestling club member May Saruga.
Thank you.
Lulu Pencil took on Mark Henry, which I like that these small people are noted play Rocks, Paper, Scissors with the biggest possible people backstage. But we got a little big show and tell. I just saw in the chat, LaToya Ferguson says, "Please let me into the Zoom, boys. I'm dying." You have a pick that relates to crossing a line to the Impact Glory Days. Glory Days?
Yes, those are the Glory Days. This is partially what got me into Impact in the first place. So I've talked about this before, yeah.
Yeah. Well, for a refresher, how did this? Let's set this clip up and say why specifically this, of all things, drew you into the Impact Zone.
Well, in general, it was Alex Shelley and Kevin Nash and their misadventures. As I was channel surfing back in the day, when you could channel surf, that was a thing people did, children.
That's my day.
Back in my day, you had to channel surf to find what you wanted.
Right.
And so I'm flipping channels. I see on Spike TV, I see Kevin Nash, but he's looking older, but you always know big sexy when you see him.
Mhm.
And he's with this very attractive younger man who I would learn is Alex Shelley. And they were, of course, talking about how Kevin Nash, outdrew The Rock and Stone Cold, obviously, like combined. And I'm like, oh, this is hilarious. So I continued to watch the show, and it's like, this is some fun professional wrestling, I've got to say. And an Impact fan was born.
Wow. I mean, these segments look like you could have been watching Kenny versus Spenny, or I don't know what else was on Spike TV in that era. Or the new
Awards
TNN.
for dudes.
Yeah. Barbarella, the series.
Oh no, Stripperella, that was the show.
Stripperella, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
I remember Stripperella.
Darren loves Stripperella.
It was always like Stanley presents Stripperella. It's like, oh, is that really giving you the cred you think it's giving you?
It was a great show. I watched it all the time.
Yeah, I don't think I watched any TNA prior to this era because it was on
what's funny?
Sportsnet or something, and then it was prior pay-per-view.
My first match I ever saw from TNA was the famous three-way, and I was like, I love TNA.
It's awesome. Like, I saw some of the Fox Sports era also like flipping channels, but I don't think I ever like stuck with it. I think I saw like, yeah, I was like, I saw K Quick and like Road Dogg. I'm like, I don't need this.
That's the thing. I saw it and I didn't.
But do you mean BG James and
and Ron Killings, of
Ron
course.
the Truth?
I was completely unaware of what was happening in pro wrestling from beginning of 1999 until 2006. So I definitely did see TNA once, and it was like Scott Steiner and Jeff Jarrett and Sting, and I was like, "Oh, WCW is really sad now." I'm not gonna watch this anymore because it was like outside. I don't even know. It was very bad. But
yeah, because
I'm a TNA fan though. I do support old school Impact Zone stuff.
And I was also in Florida, and they would like public access. They would show like some random indies, like literally after I started watching TNA, like the random indies that had like Abyss on the card. I'm like, okay, it's like, what is this? No idea.
That was a thing back then. People forget that was like there was NXT wasn't NXT. Well, not NXT.
Yeah, FCW. Yeah,
on like local Florida TV.
Yeah,
that's cool. I wish I could have lived that life.
We didn't know how actually like good we had it in terms of wrestling because obviously it was harder to watch at the time. But yeah, it was pretty good too. And like getting into TNA, that's how I got into the indies because I was like learning about like all these people outside of WWE, and I'm like, I need to see more.
Right.
So.
Yeah, big Spike TV fans in the chat. We're getting Mansers, Blue Mountain State, Super Dave's show, Super Dave Osborne. If you look on our Twitter, we just posted 16 years ago today, Super Dave Osborne entered the Impact Zone.
Wow.
Yeah. But let's talk about the Paparazzi Championship Series. I watched all these clips. You sent me a full playlist of them.
I did. I was like, you only have to watch one, but like, because
I watched them all.
I knew them all by memory, so I'm like, it's fine.
I don't have a recollection of how this all started. I know the reality of the situation is all of these X Division guys were just sitting around, and Kevin Nash started like talking to them, and then they started filming it.
Yeah, it's like for all the shit people give Kevin Nash, like you can't do that like after this because he helped them tremendously.
Well, that was the thing. Well, the idea was, I think that this is the truth, was they brought Vince Russo in the same time they signed Kurt Angle. And like his first thing was like X Division, totally boring, horrible. Samoa Joe sucks. AJ Styles sucks. Let's give them a real star, Kevin Nash, and then we'll just do vignettes with them. They don't really have to wrestle anymore. So You know,
No, I thought this was a little before.
This
the
is before
angle.
Russo, because Russo's thing was that the X Division guys should wrestle. Russo and like Bischoff were like, let them wrestle like video game characters. Basically, this is before Russo though. This is also just like because
right.
Shelley was doing like his camera gimmick because his whole thing is that he would always like watch a lot of tape. Yeah. So that's what the camera gimmick is, and then he was paired with Nash, and Nash like took him under his wing, and then we got this because honestly it helped a lot to give them all personalities, because when you look at it now you're like, oh, these guys all have like kind of big personalities for the most part, but like then not at all.
Right.
Like Jay Lethal, who is like, obviously he's Jay Lethal, but like he did a lot of gimmick work for a while that came as a result of this.
Yeah, if you're not aware of this very specific 2-year period of TNA, you will not know that Jay Lethal has any personality whatsoever, because he certainly didn't show any in Ring of Honor.
Except for when he was in House of Truth, I gotta say.
You know, I was sleeping. I missed that. So let's take a look. Kevin Nash is trying to find. He's just pitted them in a tournament, and they all feel compelled to be part of it.
So I can set the tone. I can set the
please.
scene. So he'd already been working with Shelley, and then like Shelley's partner at the time in Paparazzi Productions was Johnny Devine, who unfortunately he really just couldn't find a personality. So he kind of like got the shaft. They signed Austin Aries. They gave him the gimmick Austin Starr. So like his macho man kind of gimmick thing that he had. And so the story they had basically was that Kevin liked the cut of Austin's jib, basically. So Austin joined Paparazzi Productions, and poor Alex, he was no longer the golden boy. And so during all of this, just Kevin Nash is like, okay, we know our next thing. We feuded with Chris Sabin. We've done all that. What is our next thing? He's like, I'm gonna, as an X Division star himself, Kevin Nash, he's like, I'm going to fix the X Division. Because as we all know, Kevin Nash revolutionized the X Division and Lucha Libre. People just don't know that he used to wrestle in a mask, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was Oz. So let's take a look. They did their psych test. They did their drug test where Kevin determined that Sanjay Dutt was on roids.
To the point where I still think whenever I see Sanjay, I'm like, oh, Androl kicking in?
And yeah, this is their first competition, the push-up contest. This is your big show and tell. Let's take a look.
Okay, guys, it's real simple. We're gonna do push-ups. Everybody knows how to do push-ups, right?
No, I do.
We use the Bob Backlund system. It's commonly known throughout the country. Point system, same. First place, 5 points on down. Jay Lethal, I believe you're first.
Why do I have to go first?
Because you're black.
I don't
Just
even
get
know what the
down
Bob
there.
Backlund is.
Good
Good
luck,
luck, Jay.
You
Good
think
luck,
you don't
Jay.
know who Bob
I
Backlund is?
I didn't say
I
that.
beat him
Take
for
that.
the world title.
Yeah.
Tell me you're getting.
No.
You're
Come on.
agitated because you're on
I want to
something.
see what he's made of. I want to see what he's made of.
Anadrol kicking in?
No, that.
All right, Alex, you're up, buddy. Come on, man.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
I think he's faking. Hey, Kevin.
That Barry Bonds tricep injury, huh?
No. None of that. Hey, Kevin, you know what would help with this workout?
What's up, babe?
A beat.
All right.
Like a vegetable? Push up real good. Salt and pepper's head, we're in a mix.
That was Kevin Nash singing.
Low-key not having a sense of humor, as always.
Oh yeah, I know what that's like up close. So yeah, it's got the vibe, and all of these segments, there's a ton of them, have the vibe of like there's a cool substitute teacher in the class and everyone just gets to hang out and talk.
Yeah, basically TNA told them just like do whatever, and they did whatever.
I don't know if there's anything in wrestling in a major organization that has had the improv jam vibe that this does. What are your favorite highlights outside of the push-up contest?
So I love obviously when he's like, oh, you have to go first because you're black, but then like later in the competition, like Kevin Nash leads into to him also being black. It's like, you got to do this for us, you know, the black guys. He like leans very heavily into that, which is he's like, I guess he's from Detroit, so that means he's black, you know.
I
He's a white
know,
guy from Detroit,
yeah.
he's black.
He did sing Amazing
Hey guys,
Grace at one point.
it's real simple. We're gonna do push-ups.
Yeah, he and then Alex Shelley is also black, I guess.
These are just, you know, my favorite black wrestlers.
Uh-huh.
Jay Lethal, Kevin Nash, and Alex Shelley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We did have a lot of praise last week for Alex Shelley. It was has a good taste in garage rock. We discovered. We listened to his band, the High Crusade. Have you ever heard them?
Well, yeah, that's him, Sabin, and Petey Williams.
Yeah, the X Division supergroup.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fates are leading us to spend a lot of time talking about the mid 2000s X Division right now on this show. Yeah, Darren, any memories of the Paparazzi Championship Series?
I don't remember it as fondly. You know, I may be in the minority, but I don't find Kevin Nash to be charming at all.
Get out of here! He's a black man. Leave him alone.
Yeah, Darren. Not even when he's just slowly slurping ravioli.
I will say that these segments definitely, like, Kevin Nash was with the X Division and like that was going on the Paparazzi thing, and then it just became, you know, musical chairs with Kevin Nash making fun of the X Division, but then also the X Division weren't. I don't know. I remember at the time being like, "This sucks. I want to watch Ring of Honor. Give me some wrestling." But I was jaded wrestling fan back then. But you know, it's good to see. I don't know. I don't know.
Adam Susan in the chat appreciates Kevin Nash's loyalty to Bob Backlund, which does tie into something we've talked about on the show before when Bob Backlund had a TNA run.
Yeah,
and he would literally just walk every day through Universal Studios Orlando.
Because that happened as a result of this. And then that also segued it into Motor City Machine Guns becoming a thing in TNA, because literally the finals of the PCS, they have like the little battle royal, and then it has to become like a tiebreaker between Shelley and Austin. And the tiebreaker, basically the judge is Bob Backlund. And then post that,
didn't they do a thing too where Bob Backlund he did like steps for a whole show?
Yes, because he
like
literally
they just
did
had
just
him right next to
fucking,
the announcers.
Yeah, he literally just fucking walked everywhere. He walked to fucking Universal Studios all the time. But yeah, literally like one of the first vignettes when they're like finally putting Motor City Machine Guns together, because Sabin and Shelley had already been teaming everywhere else, was like they were hunting for Bob Backlund. They did the old dollar on a string trick, basically, and you have like just Sabin jumping out of a tree, missing completely, and it's like, tune in next week to see the conclusion.
Yeah, and that's a true
I just want to
shoot.
say, I know he listens. Tony Khan, sign Bob Backlund, please. Bob and the Baron on whatever show you want to put him on. Dark, whatever. Bob Backlund, all elite. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he made Darren Young great again, right?
He did. Cry for God.
I'm referencing a long forgotten gimmick from 2016.
Not too forgotten considering the sigh.
It lasted for so long. He was on. Bob Backlund was on WWE television for 8 months.
Yeah,
every week.
Bob Backlund's post 94
everything's
career.
Normal.
Post 94 career, he's not really wrestling. He's just there as a screaming old man.
Can we do a long form Bob Backlund retrospective on Wrestling Club? Just everything we can get, because I'll tell you, nothing I love better than Bob Backlund. Whether it's TNA, whether it's his weird shoot matches in Japan, or wrestling children.
Definitely talk about when he ran for mayor.
Yeah,
and he cut promos on the side of the highway and was screaming at cars.
I wonder if we could find people who used his like HVAC company. Like Bob Backlund comes in, like puts in your dryer or whatever.
Adam Susan also mentioning in the chat, yeah, this is when Jay Lethal became Black Machismo. All of that came from him doing a Randy Savage impression during Paparazzi Idol.
Right.
Which led to the Ric Flair thing. And, the only dose of personality, aside from the House of Truth run. Big Truth Martini head over here. Don't want to
Yeah, you are. You are. Brett, when you saw Truth Martini, was it just jealousy?
Yeah, I mean, he has. What was it? Was he like a? Was he a pimp or something?
No, he's a cult leader. He wrote a book.
Oh
Book
yeah,
of
he had the
Truth.
Book of Truth.
He
Yeah.
used it as a weapon. Isn't it funny? Ring of Honor had so many managers, and they were all bad except Sweet and Sour Larry Sweeney.
I don't know. I like Prince
Nana.
Nana.
Yeah, Prince Nana was great.
Was he a great manager? I mean, he was all right, but he wasn't. I mean, he was better than Truth.
He had a personality. I can't name any more. There was I can't name any more.
Oh, fucking Stokely Hathaway, Malcolm Bivens himself. So
Oh, I'm thinking old school ROH, but
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes, of course. The great.
I mean, if we mention Truth, we have to mention Stokely. So
Imagine if he were in AEW and all of that great stuff he does everywhere but on NXT seeped into his on-screen performance. It would be wonderful. Well, to keep on the TNA tip, a clip was resurfaced this past few weeks, and I want to get into it. They were called the Rock and Acid Connection or something.
Rock and Rave Connection.
Oh, Rock and Rave, right?
Yes.
I was gonna say that's why you could say
Wait,
Prince
hold
Nana was
on.
a good manager
on.
because of how he got Jimmy Rave over.
I was about to say so is that Lance Rock and Jimmy Rave?
Yes, Lance Rock, also known as Vance Archer, also known as Lance Hoyt, also known as Vance Archer. Before he struck it big, when he was just an independent wrestler in Texas, he made a little side change on a show we like to call Elimidate. So, Man Upstairs Isaiah, if we could play this clip of Lance Archer on Elimidate.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Elimidate.
I'm a professional wrestler. I'm a dork.
4 unique men.
I was really surprised because they're all so different.
One effect on her.
I just felt a little naughty with these guys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Elimidate.
Best part about my business is I get to be a comic book character. I get to go out and kick somebody's butt, and everybody loves me for it. So,
Professional wrestler, really?
here on the independent side here in Texas.
Wow, what do you guys think about that?
Professional wrestler? Professional wrestler. Where at? You want to go up to Dallas, you can actually see me on television. So some low rent nothing low rent about it, brother. Nothing. I have a very sensitive side. I like to write poetry. I like to write stories and things like that. So, I want to hear a poem. You want to hear a poem? I want to hear a poem.
Tell me a poem.
Okay, this is a poem. It's called I See an Angel. It says, I see an angel sitting next to me with a smile so bright it intimidates me. And I see an angel with eyes so deep. They're so deep they rival the deepest of seas.
It wasn't contrived at all. No, really.
And I see an angel. Her face is so beautiful it cannot compare. A face so beautiful it causes even the blind to stare.
That's great, but in college, I think they teach you not to rhyme your poems.
And I see an angel with a strength that sets her free. But I see an angel. But does my angel see me?
That's really nice.
All right, let's take a
They don't
pause
teach
there.
you not to rhyme.
That guy's whole thing throughout the episode, I had to cut his subplot just for time, but he was the guy that went to college and was going to graduate with a good job and was really looking down on Lance for being a caveman wrestler. I got to point out that this is the era where Lance Hoyt, Vance Archer, Lance Rock has a long, beautiful mane of hair.
He's got the tramp stamp. They didn't show it though.
He's got the tramp stamp. He's got a little chin piercing, and then he's got the most immaculately sculpted beard. It looks like a grill on the side of a car.
What we call his whole thing, that's the creed. You know what I'm saying?
I'd say it's a little more involved.
It's
I'm
Scott
saying
Stapp meets Mark Tremonti. It is the Creed.
Without a doubt. It is like big Christian rock vibes.
Silk shirt, a little blousey. He's got his, barbed wire tat. The one guy scratches his arm, and he's like, "Wow, it's very sharp. Your stubble is very sharp."
I will also say the rock and rave era of Lance, that is 100% Russo.
Yeah. The kids these days, they love rave. So
They
far,
love Guitar Hero.
I'll throw it to both of you. If you're the lady, and basically the show, you date 4 people at once, and then you eliminate them after every round of the date. It's basically Next, but different. How would you be faring with Lance's approach?
I mean, he seemed to be like the only non-toxic one of the bunch. So I guess I would choose him just for that, because they're all shit.
Yeah, he's not pouring no foreign substances into my drinks.
Yeah.
This other guy making fun of, thinking he's Mr. English 201 college lit guy, being like, I know all about poetry, all right? No way. Lance, it's a beautiful poem, beautiful sentiment, you got beautiful hair, the face, it's all right. And you're a tough
It's like,
guy.
I can change him. I can get him to shave. The fact that like they were laughing at his poem, it's like, no, that's not hot.
Yeah.
In the chat, we're saying he has benevolent himbo energy.
Exactly.
Which is beautiful. Well put.
He's look, I like Lance, I like that he's simultaneously a demon and a Christian. So I think he's just got to go, he's just got to be who he is, let his freak flag fly.
Well, let's see this freak flag on display in this next half of this clip.
Oh, okay.
Basically, and this probably will scare you, and if it does, I'm sorry, but if you haven't noticed what I'm into, I carry a whip for a keychain.
I've never had a guy whip me or even show me a whip, and so I was definitely a little surprised to see him carrying that thing around.
little makeout session right next to the other guy.
I mean, it seemed to work, so.
For the last run, I'm going to cut you, Lance. Sorry.
No.
I just, I really had a good time with both you guys, but I just felt like, in the last round, I just felt like I was, Ryan, I just felt like I saw another side of him, and he's just so complex.
You just made the biggest mistake of your life, and you're gonna realize it if you ever go out with that little punk again.
We're talking about wrestling's Dracula. He did a full, with his trench, he did a cape whip.
You're like, you do wrestling, right? Do a wrestling thing.
Yeah. He did seem genuinely pissed off.
I'll say this. I like the whip. I like that. The whip? I do. I think that's sexy.
It's very I pay for dating coaching vibes.
Now, how about his kiss? How do we rate the kiss? I say, pretty good work rate on that kiss.
That looked like a good kiss, I gotta say, which is why I was surprised he got cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was just like it was the slightest hint of tongue. That's a good kisser right there.
And again, right next to the other guy. Need to point that out. I'd be a little nervous. I'd have a little performance anxiety.
Lance has got his poems. He's got his whips. He's all right with a little public play.
Yeah,
unbelievable. You don't mind getting looked at. I feel like he's got major nudist vibes too. I bet you that there's something going on there. He's like, just very free.
Yeah, him and Jake in the the swamps.
Jake, absolutely.
And Minoru in the bathhouse. LaToya, how you doing on time? Can you stick around for another 5-10 minutes?
I'm just also making sure to schedule a work email before I leave, so I'm good.
Fair enough. Hey, and if you just leave, that's fine. But we want to talk. Darren and I, there's this Marvel show, What If, and basically it says, what if somebody else got powers, or what if the blah blah blah, and we were thinking, what if Survivor Series teams were permanent?
I want to say this. Survivor Series is undoubtedly, you cannot argue this, the worst WWE pay-per-view every year. There has never been a good one. And all of these teams are pretty much bad. At least since 1990. They're all bad. So imagine if that's just what it was.
Mm-hmm.
This the worst. Vince McMahon's least creative, laziest ideas were just what wrestling, is.
Yeah, I like the Survivor Series, and we're talking about this as our last episode
I
before
like it too, but
the
it's
new
always
one this
bad.
year. Yeah, I think sometimes they can rope in, they can book it where feuds collide and stuff, but they've
They
totally
never do.
stopped doing that.
They never do because all the energy is like WrestleMania, and then right after WrestleMania, but 6 months later, Vince is tired of all the new guys, and it's just going to be Vince McMahon versus Undertaker. It's going to be Ric Flair grabbing Triple H's dick. It's going to be some bad storyline. That's what it is. I mean, I'm just saying. That's my controversial take. All right.
So Darren, do you have a Survivor Series team? We're gonna now, let's lay some ground rules out.
Okay. All
this
right.
this team is paired together for this match, but then never separates, and not because of a rule. They have like a New Day-esque undying loyalty to one another, where they just need to stick together through thick and thin, regardless of what effect that has in their career. I'm gonna say if there is a designated team captain, that he or she leads the team towards whatever end game they have. But if it's 4 equal players, then they all kind of look out for each other, run a democracy, stay even throughout their careers. So Darren, why don't you throw out one and we'll...
I do have a question. Is this a team
Sure.
we're making up, or a team that's already like happened in the past? Because I have a team that's happened in the past.
Yeah,
That's what I'm going
I
for.
mean, hold on to that. But let's talk about Darren's first, because I know you have one in mind.
I have one in mind.
No?
I didn't off the top of my head. No.
I'll say the one that you told me you had in mind.
Oh, okay,
We'll
then I
go
did
from
have
there.
one. I'm sorry, I forget.
So you pointed out Survivor Series 96.
Survivor Series 96. Oh, yes, I did have that team. So that would have, hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. I have pictures on my phone of every Survivor Series team. So let me
Well, we don't need to I'll tell you the team. It was Jake the Snake Roberts, the Stalker, Barry Windham, Wild Man Mark Miro with Sable, and the blue chip rookie athlete making his WWF debut, Rocky Maivia.
Yeah, these guys don't go together very well.
No, but
Barry Windham is dressed exactly like a large Spike Dudley with his camouflage pants and WWF sleeveless shirt.
yeah, his gimmick for a while was that he would dress in like camo and like face paint camo, but then he just kind of gave up and looks like a Barry Dudley. Jake Roberts is, he's reverted to like old Jake after a little comeback run. Mark Miro is weird, and Sable's a mute. So yeah, I'd say, how do we want to do this? LaToya, what do you think?
So who's the captain of that team? Is Jake Roberts, right?
I don't think they have a designated captain, so I
So, yeah,
think
no. So
they're
Jake-
all making decisions, with each other in mind. So I think people start booing Rocky Maivia, they get very defensive, very upset. I don't know if we get The Rock though from that.
No, we do not.
See, I think no, I think this is it. Like Rock is like 2 years later, he's at Heroes of Wrestling.
Yeah, it fully the career fully tanks.
Yeah, Rock is teaming with Jim Neidhart. He's gained weight.
Yeah,
he
spent that $5 he had in his wallet. He's still wearing the little piece, the little top with the ribbons on it.
It's Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Flex Cavana versus Jake the Snake, and it's not great. This is a team where one of these fellas is not like the other.
See, I'll throw this out there though. His wife wound up being his agent. I think is still his agent.
Yep.
Danny Garcia
also represents Nia Jax and Eva Marie.
Yeah,
best wrestlers you could ever represent.
Cool. And her schedule just got a lot busier. Yeah, so I think she's like, I can't let this be your life. I think she moves him to Los Angeles, but then he's like, well, I got to bring my posse. So everybody comes along. I think Sable's like, yeah, I could be in movies. I know she was in some direct to DVD work in the early 2000s. And then, you know, Jake and Barry, they're like, LA sounds like a party. So, you know, we have an entourage situation now. A young Rock is now going on auditions, and he's, you know, trying to rub elbows, but he's got all these three weirdos.
Yeah.
And Mark and Barry and Jake. I'm also going to say Sable, known for liking younger men. She's married to Brock Lesnar. I think she falls deeply in love with Rocky.
Ooh.
Wow.
And I think that Mark, yeah, it's tough on Mark, but the team's got to stay together. So I think he just starts giving him bad advice.
Well, he starts hanging out with Jake too much. That's where he seeks refuge with Jake and the lampshade and the two girls and toys and, you know, that whole whole era of Jake the Snake. You know, it's not so good, Brett. That's not a good outlook for those. Did they have a team name? I don't think so.
No, they were just Jake Roberts, Mark Miro, Rocky Maivia, and the Stalker on a weird Survivor Series that had like Jimmy Snuka and Fake Diesel and.
That's another great team from that. Yeah, I'm looking at that team right now. Like extremely large Yokozuna, Superfly, Savio, and I think Rikishi maybe.
Yeah, this one, Salvatore Sincere is in this show. Aldo Montoya.
I'm saying Survivor Series is always bad. Sorry, no, the team is Yokozuna looking at his biggest, Superfly, who's lost, Savio Vega, and Flash Funk.
This sounds good to me. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, your team has my mother's beloved Barry Windham.
I love Barry too.
My mother had like apparently a big crush on Barry. When she told me that, I'm like, okay, I guess that's a thing. I'm like, Mom, I can never tell your taste. If you were in love with Barry Windham when you were younger.
Wow. So I'm gonna throw this one out. You know, might have a shorter story than the others, but this was a Survivor Series team that never was. The Big Show was paired at the 1999 Survivor Series with Kyantai and the Blue Meanie, but he decided to beat them up and take on four men by himself. But
that seems like smart logic.
Yeah, I mean he's fighting Big Boss Man, Midian, Prince Albert, and Viscera. Yeah, those are some big guys, but he thought he'd do it on his own. But I think he probably felt bad. Went back to the locker room. He was like, you know what, guys, we're together forever. Yeah. Any thoughts on where this would lead?
Well, so the team is a Big Show and the ones he beat up.
And Blue Meanie and Kyantai.
Okay. Well, after that, the trust is gone. Like, is this like an abusive relationship they're gonna have from here on out?
You know what? It's gonna be abusive. Things aren't gonna go well. But you know, 2006 comes around. I think these guys come together through their shared love of vaping.
Is there more than one vapor in the group?
Well, I mean, I feel like Big Show definitely vapes.
Well, we know that.
Kyantai will get into it. They're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Meanie, he's doing it under pressure.
Yeah. I think they become the wingmen of the late 90s. I think they are on Jacked in Metal every week. Yeah, it's just like this, you know, Big Show's career non-existent after that. He doesn't win the title. I mean, he gets offered to be in the title match that night. He wins the WWF Championship that night, and he says, "No, I'm going out with my friends."
Then he turned on again earlier that night.
Yeah, they go to Hooters together, and then he beats them up in the parking lot.
They love Hooters.
Yeah. Let's
sorry.
Team,
LaToya, do you have a team?
I do. We got 2006 Survivor Series team. I'm getting very bleak. So
gonna be very bleak.
Team WWE Legends, which is Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Ron Simmons, Sergeant Slaughter with Arn Anderson. Obviously, tragedy strikes eventually when Dusty Rhodes passed away, but they're still together. Then
Yeah.
Arn snaps. He's pulling out his Glock. He has no idea where he is. It's just it's madness. Ric Flair is just Ric Flairing, so that's a mess too. It's just
Rick's got the dick out.
He's got the dick out. It's literally these old men don't know where they are, but they keep having to wrestle together.
Yeah,
They
I
just
think they're
can't-
still wrestling.
Again, this was 2006.
Yeah.
15 years later, they still have to do all of this.
So
Ric
it's
Flair,
Flair. We got Flair, Piper. Was Piper injured?
No Piper. It's Flair, Rhodes, Simmons, and Slaughter with Arn just like on the side. So it's a 4-on-4 because they went against Spirit Squad and they didn't let Mitch wrestle because they shouldn't have ever let Mitch wrestle.
Yeah, I think Ron filled in for Piper that year.
Yeah.
I think it's just a very sad high school gym.
I think this one's got vibes of Vern, choking out his his roommate in the old folks home. You know what I mean?
In my mind, it's like Vince continues to force them to like wrestle at the highest level.
Yeah.
And they just have to keep going. That's what
like
killed Dusty.
30-minute matches against the Shield.
Just like digging his forehead open, just
every week. They're on every show, every house show.
Thank God.
That reminds me, that same year also had the team of D-Generation X, the Hardy Boys, and CM Punk.
Yep.
That's very memorable. That's
Yeah,
a very memorable thing because that's like the first time. I feel like that was like Jeff Hardy is super over and CM Punk is super over.
Yep.
And we're like, wow, this is really cool. And then it was a month later that CM Punk got squashed at December to Dismember.
Yeah, it's CM Punk's main roster debut. It's like 3 generations of like the cool guys, at least from their perspective.
Yeah.
I say CM Punk. There, we don't have any of the Jeff Hardy problems. We don't have any of the Matt Hardy problems. CM Punk puts them on the straight and narrow.
CM Punk makes them straight edge.
Yeah.
CM Punk turns the Hardy Boys' legs around.
Which means like we pivot to like the the backyard wrestling way sooner. And then you get the rub because you got the son-in-law there, Triple H. I think they reign supreme.
And I always I both have fun watching that match and also hate it because they fucking crushed Rated RKO, which was a good team besides Mike Knox, who did deserve to be eliminated immediately.
Yeah.
Mike Knox is like forever that guy when I watch wrestling from that era, and I'm like, who is that?
Just like
sometimes he looks completely different.
Just like what Shawn Michaels did in that match. Like, who is that guy?
Oh, well, that's actually Nux from Aces and Eights.
Oh
yeah, TNA superstar Nux.
Mad, I'm so mad.
Yeah, he would always cover up Kelly. You just want to show off her 19-year-old body.
She was a young woman.
She's only 19 years old. She still can't dance. Stop doing that.
Oh,
she just wants to.
That's what I was like.
Bare her breasts to
like,
these.
She just
crowd
wants
of children.
That's what I was most upset about watching this as a teen myself. I'm like, this girl can't dance. Stop making her dance. Just make her naked because, like,
yeah, that's fine. She can be naked. She's got that. She got that skill. She could do it.
She's now kimono on a layer on the roof of the ECW arena.
Oh God. Well, speaking of, I have another team that I want to do.
Guys, I think I have to go now. Actually, sorry.
All right.
I'm not going to just leave and not say goodbye.
Well, we'll do Darren's team, but do you have anything to plug? Anything you want to?
No. Well, I usually just say don't follow me because people on Twitter, you know how they don't know what jokes are, and so they have to explain them to you.
They're stupid.
Yeah. You can plug my book. It's already too late for me to make any money off of it. So.
Oh, cool. How that works.
Great.
But yeah, buy my book. Tell me you liked it. That'll make me feel good for at least like 30 minutes before I cry. Follow me on Twitter at LaFergs, LaFergs.
Went off the Kelly entry.
Kelly is
there.
in the book, just so you know.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Sorry I could not be here for longer after I
Latoya, it's
demanded I
okay.
be on here.
You got work to do. We understand.
Okay.
Thanks.
Love you,
Cross the line.
boys.
Cross
I
the
will.
line.
I'm always crossing the line. Adrenaline rush. Adrenaline rush. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Well, I tell you, LaToya is going to really miss out on this one because this is the team I wanted, Brett. You screwed me up.
I'm sorry.
All right.
We had more than one though.
My team is from the 1995 Survivor Series, and it's the team of Tomoko Watanabe, Lioness Asuka, Aja Kong, and Bertha Faye.
Okay.
So they're all fucking Harvey Whippleman.
I don't know why that's a thing.
Just a blow bang with old Whippleman.
Well, where does Bertha Faye go after 95? I know she pops up in WCW a few years later, but does she just go back? Does she go to Japan?
I don't know. I thought she married Harvey Whippleman and they lived happily ever after.
No, is she the team captain there?
She is, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so they all moved to the trailer park.
My question is, imagine a world where Bertha Faye is portrayed by Aja Kong. And she's got the love triangle with Whippleman and Howard Finkel's getting upset, getting jealous.
No. Yeah, I think they Harvey Whippleman hates Joshi from there.
Doesn't like it, yeah. But I feel like there's they're going to Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're probably staying at Harvey Whippleman's apartment in Stamford. He can't afford to buy.
Yeah. But where are they now? Are they all just like raising families and with downtown Bruno?
Yeah, and various other characters from 90s Memphis wrestling. You've got Watanabe's married to the dirty white boy. What else? I can't think of anybody else from Memphis.
Well, this was a fun little adventure, wasn't it?
Wasn't it great? It was great. Anytime I can talk about Survivor Series teams, which again, Survivor Series always bad, but I always want to like it.
Darren, this is a rare Sunday show. So you did your radio show last night.
I had a show last night. That's correct.
What'd you play?
Oh boy, I played that new that new Why Bother record. I played what else did I play? The Crimmies. That's a new group I really like. A bunch of German. I played a bunch of German punk last night and early '80s Mexican techno, which is something I haven't really. There's not a lot of it out there, but I can't remember the label. Just put out a compilation.
Oh no, did we lose Darren?
Techno from Mexico. I'm still here, baby. I'm
All
still
right.
here. And so I played a lot of that. You can check it out at WFMU.org. The whole show is archived for your listening and streaming pleasure. So I'd appreciate it if you did that.
Yeah. And I have a little show coming up. I'll be DJing it again at Senor Fish, not Senor Frogs. But I always want to say Senor Frogs.
I thought you were a comedian.
Well, I'm returning to the stage this Friday at the Elysian in Frogtown. Hell comes to Frogtown when the Lethal Lottery returns, but this time it's a comedy show where we pair various comedians together, and they have to come up with a set together, a unique set. We did announce the teams since we last spoke. We've got the team of Dudio, Jason Gore, with Anthony Oberbeck, you may know from Shrill. We've got Wyatt Fair of the Shrimp Boys, former partners with, or still current partners with Sarah Squirm, and LA comedy titan Jamel Johnson. We've got Shannon Coffey and Katie McVeigh, who's a big AEW head, and who's the fourth one? Well, and Jesse Morner-Ritt teams with the very funny sketch team of Joe McAdams and Chris Stevens, aka Butt. And there might be another team announced. We'll see.
So Brett, so the greatest match in wrestling Lethal Lottery history, in my opinion, is Ric Flair and Steve Austin with Colonel Robert Parker and Fifi versus Max Payne and Too Cold Scorpio. Is there anything on the show that you'd say could live up to that?
You know, I'm not sure. My personal favorite is Lex Luger and Animal versus Hawk and Booker T from '96.
All right. Well, we all have our own.
And Hawk and Animal keep getting confused and trying to tag each other in.
Well, that's really funny. I like that.
Man upstairs, do you have anything to plug? He's asleep. Oh.
Nope.
No
more.
No.
All right. Well, Darren, why don't you take us out? Happy Survivor Series, everybody. Nobody's going to watch it.
All right, that'll do it for Wrestling Club. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to the man upstairs, Isaiah. Shout outs to the man. I fucked it up already. Well, you know what? We can, we'll just do it again live a little bit later on. If you dig Wrestling Club, please like, share, subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating on the Melcher scale. Invite your friends. Check out the archive and spread the word. Wrestling Club returns next week with a whole new show, so please check it out. But until then, for Brett, I'm Darren. This has been Wrestling Club. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
The Wrestling Club with Darren and Brett. We've got a show that you'll never forget.